Hey there, it's Chris from Good Roads. Early in the summer, I took a road trip down the East Coast, and along the way, I got to do something really cool. I made a stop in North Carolina and paid a visit to Carver & Stone, which is a full-scale skateboard manufacturing shop. It is a working factory, so please excuse a little bit of background noise, and let me take you along with me on my visit, starting with a conversation with Alan, the owner of Carver & Stone. Well, first of all, what's Carver & Stone?
Carver & Stone is a regional wood shop skateboard manufacturer right here in High Point, North Carolina, and we make skateboards.
What are you guys up to as a company right now? You got a lot of stuff in the works.
Right, as a company, we are slammed. We are on back order. We're pushing boards as fast as we can every single day, close to 12 hours a day running, 7 days a week, making 16-hour days look easy in the office, and can't stop.
You just had a little grand opening.
We did. We just opened our retail shop, which is the Board and the Stone, which a couple of the guys partnered up with me and started in the front lobby of the shop. So letting them run a little skate shop and sell custom boards out of it. First shop in the country to sell custom boards out of one shop, one factory, one location.
You guys made me a board.
Yes.
I can talk about what that process looked like, but what was kind of the inspiration behind offering that as a service or as an option?
The inspiration's simple, is I always wanted a place that I could go and get a board that I wanted, that was made for me, my specs, something I wanted to ride. If a popsicle doesn't suit you, there are shapes and shapes. If a shape doesn't work for you because you just don't like it or it's too funky, you can get a pop. Nothing wrong with pops. Everybody rides them. They're symmetrical. You can get a twin if you want. You can get any size you want. As long as it fits on a DIY blank that we put out of a press, you can have it made. All here. Well, if that isn't a tempting offer if ever I've heard one. Their process works like this. You come into the shop and select your blank. There's a huge variety to choose from with regards to concave, kicktail angles, and a ton of other small details. Then you pick your shape. You can choose an existing shape from the shop, or you can modify one to suit your needs. And you also get to pick your wheelbase and bolt drilling options. I picked a pool deck shape, and I got it customized to be a little bit longer than normal. After that, you discuss graphics options, and normally, a few days later, you'd come back to a completely finished custom deck. But my trip was anything but normal. Alan took me behind the scenes and into the factory to see how their decks are made. And I don't think I've ever felt more like a kid in a candy store. How cool is this place? The sheer variety and volume of board geometries in the shop was just awesome. Street decks, pool decks, freestyle, you name it, and it seems like they have versions of it curing on the walls. The first step in making a board is material selection, and at Carver & Stone, they order their veneer in bulk, getting full-size sheets from the lumber mill. They then cut the veneers by hand to the size needed for the deck being made using this giant sheet metal shear. Next, they sand the veneers to their final thickness. The dingus behind the lens hit the wrong button and took a picture instead of footage, but you can just imagine a lot of sanding noises and sawdust. You get the idea. Once the veneers are prepped, it's over to the layup table where they enter the capable hands of Carver & Stone's lead press operator, Harry. These guys are using glue by the barrel, and here's the part of the process where you can start to see the differences between a DIY hobbyist and the big boys. And it boils down to skill and experience. Watch how quickly and smoothly these layups go. Both sides.
And then you stitch the ends.
Yeah. I'm learning things.
I found at that point it gives you a little bit more contact surface.
Right now we're DIY on a mass scale.
Yeah, it's awesome. A lot of the techniques you guys are using are
But if we can
stuff
do
that
this on
people
a
could do at
mass
home.
scale, then anybody should be able to do this from their garage or in their home.
Yeah.
I gotta get me one of those glue rollers, man.
$30.
Amazon.
What?
No price.
I haven't seen them for less than like 100. Where do you? Damn, dude.
55 now.
55 now?
All right.
Yep. You got to order them from China.
Okay. All right.
They're on Amazon. Here.
In a matter of minutes, 3 decks are laid up and moved over to a press. As of shooting this video, all of their decks were hand rolled, but I've been updated that they have some new tooling in place, and this level of care is now exclusive to the custom orders. And let's talk for a minute about presses at this shop, because for me, it was the most mind-blowing part of the whole tour. Alan was a little wary allowing me to film their press tech, but he decided that the value to the DIY skate scene was too high to not share. All he asks in payment for sharing his trade secrets is that if you have any interest in building a press like this, to reach out to him. He'd be happy to chat. The presses at Carver & Stone are all wood framed. All 10 of them. They're pressurized using a pair of pneumatic car jacks, and personally it was just such a game changer to see that a production level factory was making quality boards using presses built out of stuff you can get at basically any lumberyard.
This press has been in service for 6.5 years.
Same construction.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't needed to be reinforced or anything.
6.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I built this one in 2016, and she's still strong. I haven't had to rebuild it. I haven't had to reconstruct it. I haven't had to reinforce it. Watch your back.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Zero has made more boards than I care to admit.
Yeah. Well, if it works,
Yeah.
right?
And she won't die. She's the best. She's still the best one of the whole field, isn't she, Harry?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Never had to modify it.
Mm-mm.
That's awesome.
Never had any failures or anything with it. Pretty nice.
No, she won't die.
So, effectively an entire skateboard factory running on DIY presses. How sick is that? Want to see him in action? I know I do.
This is the most important part of this whole thing.
Getting it aligned?
Getting it aligned, because if it's not and you send it up, it's wrong. And then also getting your spacing right as well, so making sure you got pretty even overhangs on either side.
Yeah, the nose and tail.
But it also depends on your press design, because some presses, the veneer fits exactly within the mold, and some the veneer hangs out of the mold. All right, we're ready to go up.
Hit it. Oh man, I gotta build me one of these. I love how quiet that is.
It is real nice, until the air compressor kicks on.
Yeah.
And just like that, 3 boards are in the press. They get cured in the mold for a set amount of time and then moved over to the wall to finish curing for about a week or so. Once the blank is finished curing, it needs to be shaped. They have a CNC router at the facility for custom orders, but most of the work here is still done with care, by hand, using plastic templates made right in-house. We picked a template from their extensive collection, and Alan got working on marking out the board, starting with the center line. Choosing a wheelbase, of which they had a number of awesome DIY jigs for, and center punching for bolt holes. Drilling the bolt holes. And tracing the shape onto the blank. After which it's over to the bandsaw for rough shaping. And over these next few steps, you can really see the practice movements that come with the experience after making thousands of decks. A lot of techniques being used here are the same things that us hobbyists are doing at home, but these guys are just so much more efficient and accurate with them. Next, it's over to this monster belt sander to refine the deck to its final shape.
And then it's time to round the rails, and longtime viewers of this channel are about to see something familiar. When I released my Bishop router jig, I told you guys that almost every board builder's shop has something similar, and all I did was make it 3D printable. Here's Carver and Stone's version. Super simple, just a dome top with a round over bit sticking through. If you'd like to get a pre-made version of a router jig like this, I have them available at goodroadscollective.com. There'll be a link down in the description. Anyway, on with the show. Once the rails are routed, it's over to the drum sander, and I mean, just watch this. That, my friends, is a pro at work. Then, even the pros can't escape it, there's one last pass with an orbital sander to make everything just right. And there's the finished deck, ready for a sealing coat and graphics. Now, this isn't my custom deck, this was a deck they made for an order as an example so I could show you all the process, but I swung back through the shop on my return trip and got to see the progress on my custom that had been made in a few days. And man, did it look pretty. And a couple days later, this arrived in the mail. They even burned a custom screen for me and slapped the Good Roads logo on it. How cool is that? Also, I picked this blue stain as an option, but what I didn't realize was that it was gonna go on both sides. And I am just gonna have to do something cool with the grip tape to let that wood grain show through, because this is so cool. Now, I did get a look at how they applied graphics. They're screen printing, but they wanted to keep that process a little closer to their chest. And you've got to respect trade secrets. This is how companies differentiate themselves from the competition. However, I was checking out one of the decks that they had hanging in their shop up on the wall, one of the ones that came out of the factory, and I counted 13 colors. I don't think I've ever heard of a 13 color screen print. That is some hard work and attention to detail. I had a great time visiting the team over at Carver and Stone. Not only do they make great decks, not only can you get a custom deck made exactly to your specs, not only are they huge supporters of the DIY movement, they're all just great people. And to the team there, I know you guys are making some really exciting moves, so I can't wait to come back, get to visit again, see how things evolve. Thank you so much for having me through and allowing me to share what you're up to. While I was there, in addition to my custom deck, I also picked up a fat stack of veneers, so I'm just gonna have to make some boards of my own. So if you want to see that and a ton of other awesome DIY board sport stuff, you're just gonna have to go ahead and subscribe. If you got questions or comments, leave them down below. If you have questions about wood-framed, pneumatic air bladder style presses, reach out to Alan at Carver and Stone. Huge shout out, as always, to my supporters over on Patreon. It's their support that allows me to do cool things like take road trips and visit skate factories. So if you'd like to see more of that, if you'd like to support the channel, there'll be a link down in the description below. And finally, let me know how you liked this kind of travel showcase content. If you guys dig it, I had a ton of fun putting it together, so I'd love to do more of it here on the channel. As always, I love having you guys along for the ride, so until next time, I'll see you soon. And you better believe the first thing I did when I got home was order one of those glue rollers.